Well, 2017 is the 125th anniversary year of the historic Ryman Auditorium, and WSM Radio is so happy to be a part of the celebration with I Played the Ryman, an eclectic series of interviews throughout the year with artists who have graced this historic stage. Eric Markham and I are so happy to be doing that. I'm Charlie Mattos, and thrilled to welcome our guest, Drew Holcomb, to this episode. It's good to see you, my friend.
Good to see you too, man. Thanks for having me.
Well, when they proposed this idea, your name was literally the first one that came to mind, because not only have you played the Ryman and sold it out, but the live album just kind of made this a no-brainer for me. So I'm really excited for this. But before we get to that particular night, tell me the first time you ever walked into this place.
First time I came here was as maybe a 22-year-old to see Ryan Adams play.
Okay.
And I had the back row on the floor, and it was
under the overhang.
Under the overhang. Yep. Had a great night, but then someone told me the magical news that you got to sit in the balcony. So the second show I saw here was my first day with my wife, and we saw Patty Griffin, and we were on the house right far side, top row of the balcony, and just had a magical night. And since then, I've probably seen, I'd say, at least 40 shows here in the last 12 years.
Yeah, it's one of those places I say it ups everybody's game. If it's a good show, this place makes it great. If it's a great show, this place makes it memorable. You know,
it really does.
Yeah.
I mean, I was telling somebody that yesterday. I've never seen a bad show at the Ryman.
Yeah, yeah. Well, take me back to February 28th of 2015. First off, was that planned to do a record? Would you guys knew you were going to do a live record, or did it just feel so good, we got to put this out?
Yeah, no, not at all. Not planned at all. We were recording the entire tour, so it was like probably show number 16 or 17. We've been out since kind of earlier that month, and we were recording the whole tour just in hopes that maybe at some point, you never know, maybe we'll put out a live record. And I'll never forget my bass player, Rich, who's a very sort of stoic, unemotional personality. And we came off the stage after the encore, and he stopped me, and with tears in his eyes, he grabbed me by the head and said, "That's the best show we've ever played."
Wow. And
we've been making music together for, at that point, 9 years.
Yeah. So
we knew we had something special. Nobody wanted to go back and listen to it, though, because it had this mythology in our memory.
Yep.
But we asked our sound guy to go back and listen to it and tell us whether it was actually that good. And he came to us and said, "Guys, it is that good, and you need to release it." So we went in and decided to give it a shot.
Well, now I've got many live albums in my collection, but I love the fact that it sounds like a live album. And I think you know what I mean by
I do
that.
know what you mean. Yeah, we didn't add things and fix things. It was like what you hear on the record is what was performed at the show. Yeah. No studio tricks.
So I was not here that night, but I've heard the album many times. Tell me if I'm close on this. You open, I believe, with American Beauty.
Yeah.
And it's a couple songs in before you address the crowd. And I think you say, "Good evening, Nashville." And then they react, obviously. And then there's a rather long pause. And I almost imagined you kind of just gazing at that sellout crowd.
Yeah.
Taking a breath, and then, okay, we're good.
That's exactly
what happened.
Soaking it all
in,
yeah,
right?
A friend of mine, Bear Reinhardt from Need to Breathe, who has played here many times, he saw me before the show, and he just said, "Take it in. Let the show come to you." And it was really good advice. And yeah, so after the second song, I just kind of, the crowd cheered for the song, and I just kind of looked around, took a few deep breaths, bobbed my head a little bit. It's like, all right, this is actually happening.
Yeah. Wow. And, 2,400 seats, so not huge, but certainly not small.
Yeah.
But they feel like they're right on top of you. It's so intimate, huh?
Yeah, and for us, 2,400 seats is as big as we play. We mostly go around the country playing 500, 600, 700 capacity theaters and clubs. And so what's crazy about the Ryman is even though it's 2,400 people, it feels like it's 200-300 because everybody's right there on top of you, with the stage being on the long wall and the balcony being so close. And it's just it's perfect.
Yeah. Even sound check is cool when you look up and see the sun through that
coming
stained
through the
glass.
windows. Yeah.
Out of curiosity, on stage, do you do monitors? Do you ear monitors? Wedges or both?
We did wedges the first time, and we're on monitors now. It's a little different, but we still have I get plenty of crowd mic in my ears, and I always pull one out for the right intimate moments. But I get plenty of audience feedback.
Yeah. Is there a comfort knowing too that the acoustics in this place are so good that what you're sending out, they're hearing what you want them to hear?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, people always ask me what's different about every night on tour, and it's like, well, two things. One, the people that are in the room are always different, and then two, the way the rooms are made. I mean, architecture matters with music, and this room is a special place because it's been, a gathering place for the community for a long, long time, and knowing that it's going to sound good, it gives you a leg up.
I saw a great tweet that you responded to, I guess it was a few weeks ago, from one of your fans that said, going to the Ryman for the first time to see my favorite band. And it made me think about something. There will be people out there tonight and last night. This is the second night of a 2-night run here on the Souvenir Tour. But there will be people here who've probably seen you 50 times. But there will be a fair amount of people who this will be the first time they've ever seen you. Are you conscious of that when you go on stage?
Well, man, I sure will be now, in a good way. I'm glad you mentioned that. I mean, that's a great thing to think about, is that people, I mean, I see on social media that people are flying here from places. I just met a guy out in front of the venue who flew in. He lives in Chicago, flew in from London yesterday and met his wife here to come see the show. And so there's certainly a certain responsibility to give people a great first show.
Well, I remember TBS at one point, Ted Turner's channel, were colorizing all the old movies, like Casablanca, Maltese Falcon, and they asked Roger Ebert, the great legendary critic, Chicago Sun-Times, what he thought, and he goes, it's fine if that's how you want to see it, if it's the 20th time you've seen it, but you can only see something for the first time once. Yeah. So I always think about that.
Yeah, that's a great story.
Yeah. So Memphis was home originally. You old enough to ever see anything at the Mid-South Coliseum? Talking about old historic places.
Yeah, I was. Yeah? I saw Chris Ledoux.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Now that's a night
at the rodeo.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was the headliner. After the rodeo.
And Liberty Land as a kid?
Oh, man, yeah. the Zippin' Pippin? Come on.
The Zippin'. I love it.
It's my first roller coaster. My dad made me wear cowboy boots so I could ride on it.
Oh, that's
so I wasn't tall. I was like 1 inch too short. But.
And that put you over?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's a good dad right there. Yeah. I like that. So, am I right that it's still standing, the Mid-South Coliseum, but they can't do anything with it?
I honestly don't know. I mean, I know that they've had I think they still have some of it. I feel like they had a circus in there this year.
Okay.
But yeah, it's pretty basically vacant.
Yeah. Yeah, well, Elvis played there, so in and of itself, things got to stay standing. Right?
Hopefully, it's like the Nashville Coliseum. They'll end up doing some stuff there.
Yeah. And then obviously UT for college, and that's where you meet Ellie. I'm curious, was there a second choice for schools?
Yeah, I had an appointment to the Naval Academy.
Did you really? I don't think I knew that.
Yeah, and went up there and visited and just figured out that I didn't want to be, I wanted to fly, and figured out the commitment was much longer than I anticipated. And I was sort of 18 staring at 30 and got scared in my boots and decided to go to Tennessee.
Well, the what ifs though, right?
I
mean, sometimes
you
sometimes
start
fate
watching Top Gun when you're 12, and you want to be Tom Cruise. So,
but sometimes fate just takes you to the right place.
That's
though, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
A couple of cool places in that city too. The Tennessee Theater.
The
People tell me the Bijou. I've never been there. Describe that for me.
The Bijou is like this classic old movie house that's been restored to sort of its original glory. It's pretty small. It's 750 capacity. The floor and the balcony, and it's like the velvet seats and the ornate woodwork, and same thing, the crowd sort of right there, and big stage and great lights and a great staff, and it's right downtown. It's just a magical spot.
So you guys have played there, obviously.
Yeah, maybe 10 times.
Yeah. It's one of my Powerball dreams that if I ever just have unlimited wealth, to rehab an old theater and only play movies I like and
that
only
would
book
be
bands
awesome.
that I like.
Oh,
yeah, wouldn't it be good? It wouldn't matter if I made money because I was rich.
Yeah,
exactly. So, well, obviously you guys have had such success, and the fact that the band that we see tonight is pretty much the band as it has been, right? And
with a few changes. Yeah,
but that's not an easy thing to do keep a band together.
No, it's not. I mean, I think in a lot of ways I made some good decisions early on giving my band some input on the creative side and trying to treat them as good as possible on the financial end of things, and we've been able to keep the ship in the water, and everybody seems pretty happy with it. I mean, we have our ups and downs like any band.
Oh sure,
but,
yeah.
I always tell people it's like you want to have benevolent monarchy sort of situation where, you know, the decisions are still mine, but I make sure I pay attention to where I have weaknesses and they have strengths, and try to make it work that way.
Yeah, it's nice to see the names on the record are the names on the stage.
Yeah, it's not a very Nashville thing, but
no, it's the antithesis sometimes of Nashville.
But it's worked for us.
Yeah, that's what makes you guys so good live. I would think they're so invested in it, right?
Yeah, they are. It's their music too.
Yeah, and I love the fact that despite the success and the places you guys have gone and the sold-out shows and the records you've sold, that in some respects it's still kind of a grassroots effort. I love.
It's very much.
You had a tweet the other day that said,
effort.
"Hey, still need merch help here," and so I thought, "Man, that'd be so." But Haley Hall and I will be happy if you need merch help here tonight at the Ryman. I figure of all the places you got this one covered.
We do.
Yeah, but isn't that great that fans can still kind of be involved?
Yeah, we hope they think it's great.
Yeah.
You know, to come volunteer and sell our T-shirts for us. But yeah, it's definitely a family affair.
The decision to create your own label, Magnolia Music, a lot more freedom, I would think, artistically, a lot more work, right? So kind of a catch-22?
Yeah, both and when I started it, 8 years ago, it was sort of out of necessity because the music that I was making didn't seem to be finding a home with the A&R men. You know, it's like I'm not country enough for country and not pop enough for pop and not rock and roll enough for rock and roll. Yeah. So sort of a genreless orphan, you know. And so I did it because I wanted to make music, but I didn't know how to do it without. I needed some money, so I found some investors and created a little label, and we've been making our own records now for quite a while.
Be a great album title, Genreless Orphan.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah. You and I both have a passion for vinyl, and a lot of your fans will be familiar with the Magnolia Record Club. But for folks who may have stumbled on this on YouTube or our WSM online page, tell people about that.
It's basically a book club, but it's vinyl. So I pick a record out that I love every month, and people pay a monthly subscription, and they can sort of opt in. And then if they don't like the club, they can opt out and leave. But so far, people have loved to stay. And we pick a record we love and we mail it to them. And I write a letter about why I love the record and put that in there with the record. And sometimes we get exclusive stuff like, a colored limited edition sort of stuff or something signed. And, like this month or last month, it was Souvenir, our record. And then this month is Chris Stapleton's new record and then Jason Isbell's record. And so it's a lot of sort of Americana singer-songwriter type stuff, but we've had all kinds of records, and it's been fun. I thought it was going to be this little diversion. It's turned into a real sort of side project.
Yeah. You did gold vinyl on a record,
We did. That was the Ryman record.
Okay.
The gold,
yeah. Wilco was April, if I remember
correctly. We did Wilco in April. Yeah, we were March, I guess. Yeah, and then
Okay.
Wilco was April, and then Stapleton, and then Rhiannon Giddens was February, and it's been good.
Oh, man. What a record that is. Huh?
Yeah, very good.
Birmingham Sunday. I've
Punch
worn
you
that
right in the
song
chin,
out.
yeah.
Yeah, what an album. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing her live someday, too.
Yeah, for sure.
Speaking of records, this is the Souvenir Tour, and we don't have time to go track by track, but just a couple of thoughts on a couple of songs. When I saw you tonight, I said, well, it's just fate that I'm here, because I was literally telling Haley Haw, I said, man, I really love California, and literally your sound check, you guys break into it. So, you've had the chance to play California in California, though, right?
We did, like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah,
it was fun. The San Diego crowd was a little cold towards it because we name check L.A. and San Francisco, and they were like,
hey.
What are we, chopped liver? But yeah, especially in San Francisco, we got a really, really warm reception. And then we played it at Stagecoach, and people seemed to really, really love that. I mean, California was like, that place, that magical place you dream about as a kid that you've heard about. And it's one of the only places that sort of lives up to its expectation,
The worst first impression line.
And then you're like, heaven,
LA is that one that gets told back to you as a favorite
all these
line?
people in LA are like, that's so true,
The other one that just stands out on the record to me is Black and Blue.
Yeah. Very cool.
Yeah,
it's a song we Nathan and Rich and I wrote together just about sort of the disruption and commitment inside of relationships, and it's kind of got this really interesting back and forth duet, which I think is pretty cool. I'm proud of that one.
Yeah, and nice to hear Ellie's voice, one of the former neighbors.
That's right. Yeah, she'll be here tonight.
Yeah,
obviously.
A comment on Red Sea Road. What a wonderful album. She
just
recently released.
Yeah, my wife left the band and started her own music, and she kept writing songs that were supposed to be for the band, and she'd be like, I'm sorry, I wrote another one about Jesus, another gospel song. And we said, that's awesome. You should go start your own band.
Yeah.
You know, and she
don't
has.
feel bad about writing about Jesus,
fine.
right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, a time and a place for everything.
Yeah.
So she's been able to step out on her own and find a lot of success doing her own thing, and it's been really great. I'm really proud of her.
Yeah. Your daughter is 4 or 5 now?
4.5. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. My son just turned 4.
Nice.
So I'm curious because I'm constantly amazed by the non sequiturs that come from the car seat in the back. You never know what's going to. So what's the craziest thing either you've heard her say or Ellie said, you're not going to believe what just came out of her mouth?
She said something the other day about the zoo. She said, we were at the zoo, and she said they were doing this construction project, and she goes, that's for the bears. I hope they have a fence. I don't want to get eaten. Total deadpan. I was like, yeah, they're going to have a fence.
All right, for the record, Nashville Zoo.
Yay, there you go. Love it.
My favorite from mine the other day was, Daddy, Elvis movies are so great. And I'm like, my work is done, people.
My work is done here.
I'll see when it's time to finance college. I'll see you. What else? I can do
love
nothing
it.
else. So
that's awesome.
So we were watching TV the other day, and I'm kind of half paying attention, and all of a sudden my attention is focused because it's you.
Oh,
and it's
yeah.
the Ford commercial, and I thought that's really cool.
Really, yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, how did that come about?
They just came to us, and they've been doing this new thing where basically, which has worked well for us. Instead of like paying artists to, promote their products, they're using their product to promote music. So they're putting a bunch of money behind getting our songs on the radios. They basically buy ad time, and instead of taking out an ad, they play our song, and in the end it says this is sponsored by Ford.
Yeah,
so.
It's a good looking spot.
Yeah,
it really is.
yeah.
I liked
Cool.
it. So so as we sit here, show 1 was last night. The second night on the run is tonight. Enjoyable more this time around than a couple of years ago because you've done the whole experience.
Less stressed for sure. Yeah, less stressed and less like nerves, but more just as much anticipation, just as much excitement. But you can never beat your first time playing here. I mean, the overwhelming nature of that experience is irreplicable. But I do think that tonight's going to be just as special. Today's my 35th birthday.
Yeah.
So playing here on my 35th birthday, it's pretty cool.
I had a note that's, you can follow on Twitter at hashtag Ryman 125. I said hashtag Holcomb 35 would be good
30,
tonight too, right? Yeah.
I love it. I love it.
Harder these days to put a set list together when you have so much stuff because you want to feature the new.
That's why I was late for this interview.
Okay, working on the set.
Well,
list?
yeah, we're just having internal disagreements about the set list.
Yeah.
It's so much harder now. You make more and more records, and then but you can't decide how much of the new record to play and how much of the old stuff to bring in and how long to play. And
because the first record you just play everything. Right?
First record you're like, man, we got to play for an hour. We only have 45 minutes of music.
Right, yeah.
What do we do? And now it's like, okay, we have 6 hours of music and we got 90 minutes. How do we make this work?
Yeah. Are you conscious too of back-to-back nights that there will be a lot of people who'll be here
that
both
was
nights?
That was part of the conversation.
Yeah.
Was we've been playing a different set every night, but the first 7 songs have been the same.
Yep.
And so this will be the first show where there could be like repeat folks, in the same town. And I'm arguing that we should change it up, and some of the other guys think we should keep it the same, and then change it 25 minutes, 30 minutes in. So we'll see who wins the argument.
All right. Well, we'll
let you know.
In a couple hours. I'll be here.
So far,
we'll find out in a
we're
couple
at a
hours.
stalemate.
Okay. All right. I have a feeling you're like the vice president, though. I have a feeling who breaks the stalemate.
Right. Yeah. That's right.
Well, listen, it's been a pleasure. Thank you for taking the time to chat with us.
Thanks for having
looking
me.
forward to the show tonight.
Appreciate it.
Drew Holcomb. I'm Charlie Mattos. Another installment of I Played the Ryman.